Hey, welcome to The Stretch, the podcast dedicated to the concept taught by Ralph Waldo Emerson, that the mind, once stretched by a new idea, never returns to its original dimensions. How do you spend your time when you're done with your workday? Are you spending your discretionary time doing things you really love? Is there a particular skill you've wanted to learn for a long time, but you just haven't found the time or motivation to get started? I'm Brad Reinhardt.
And I'm Travis Stanley, and today we hope to stretch your mind by examining and discussing our inaugural topic, hobbies, and why we need them. We want to discuss how and why hobbies, as we know them, came to be, the role of hobbies in creating a productive life away from our normal work, some surprising benefits of hobbies, what makes a good hobby, how can you enrich your life and stretch your mind by engaging in a worthwhile hobby, and reasons we avoid hobbies. Finally, we'll look at what some people do for hobbies today and how those often transform into work for a separate income stream, becoming that a side hustle instead of purely a hobby.
Now, admittedly, it may seem silly or like a frivolous topic to discuss hobbies for some people. So many people with busy work schedules having struggles with work-life balance or the demands of family life or just struggling and hunkering down in survival mode. It may be really hard to even think about adding a new activity or taking up hobby for leisure and pleasure. And we get it. But we hope that our discussion today will demonstrate many of the benefits of hobbies so that in whatever stage of life you're in and whatever's going on, you'll find a little something that can help you to find greater purpose and renewal and to help you to thrive even in challenging times.
Why do we have hobbies? Today, hobbies come in the form of side hustles, hobby competitions, and the gig economy. During the 19th century, hobbies came into play amongst middle-class culture to maintain wholesome productivity and steer people away from more decadent and frivolous pursuits. These include gambling, drinking, etc. Hobbies became more than just a kind of horse as the Industrial Revolution took shape. This took workers out of their homes and into large cities and factories. This also created a sharper divide between work and home. Author Stephen M. Gelber states, hobbies in the U.S. developed as a category of socially valued leisure activity in the 19th century because they bridge the worlds of work and home. Hobbies create a form of disguised affirmation that mirrors the experience that gets rewarded and affirmed at work. Hobbies generate a workplace-level skill that one does for fun.
Let's talk about some specific benefits of hobbies reported in our research and also those we've come to appreciate from personal experience and how they can enrich our lives. They include, among others, better time management. What are your thoughts on that, Travis? How can adding a time-consuming activity lead to better time management?
So often we hear or say to ourselves, I just don't have time for a hobby. It seems counterintuitive to think that adding a hobby to a busy schedule could actually improve our time management, but it definitely can. I say it can even magnify our time. So when I hear of time management, I actually think of energy management. Having a hobby is an investment in our own creative excitement. Doing something we enjoy energizes us. This energy goes with us elsewhere. Rest is needful too, but sitting around can be depleting. Here are a couple other benefits. Creativity. A good hobby can unleash creative thinking that leads to problem solving. When you have that working in the background of a normal workday, for example, this could lead to solutions to a problem we are facing elsewhere. I know I've seen that in my day-to-day life. Burnout seems to be a plague of our busy lives. For example, physical exercise releases endorphins that help us feel more mentally aware and emotionally well. Any wholesome hobby that generates a physical exertion keeps us renewed and recharged. So, do we have time not to have a hobby? The research shows that we need this time to re-energize, create, and renew ourselves. As we do so, we will optimize our time and our productive capacity. It's fascinating to think about.
In addition to benefits of outdoor and physical activities, those which had a creative element were also found to be beneficial. An article in the Journal of Positive Psychology stated that spending time on creative goals during the day is associated with higher activated positive affect or mood.
That's right, and several resources also mention the creative flow and being in the zone as a desirable state promoting positive feelings, even a euphoric state. So what makes a good hobby? It seems that a hobby, one that really works for someone and checks many of the boxes we discussed today, is one that is completely self-determined. The selection process requires self-awareness in determining what you like or are interested in. It facilitates understanding of what you may be missing in other areas of your life, a self-diagnosis, if you will, And a good hobby can be a means of self-treating to provide a fuller life, help you recover from workplace dynamics, or compensate for deficiencies that you experience because of work-related demands or other circumstances. Specifically, a good hobby meets a need that you have. For example, many with physical hobbies such as running, long-distance cycling, various martial arts, competitive sports do such to compensate for the lack of activity during the work week. Sedentary jobs of today are different from historical work, where there was more physical activity required to manage animals, farm crops, or build houses or manufacture. A good hobby can have a direct impact, a compensatory effect, a remedial, healing, and restorative quality.
A good hobby should be realistic. If I wanted to mine for rocks on the moon, that's great, but not doable. So it needs to be within the realm of possibility within my circumstances.
I agree. I think it needs to be something that can be done regularly as well. Many people have their bucket list activities. They want to go skydiving. They want to, cross the Grand Canyon. But those are things that are things you do once, things you don't do on a regular basis.
That's good. I think another thing about hobbies needs to be that it's something that aligns with personal interest. Not something to be done because of what other people think, but you should do it while you're being honest with yourself about what you like, what interests you. So if you think your friends will think it's weird that you're making soft cheese, if you like it, who cares? Another thing that makes hobbies doable is that they should not be exceedingly costly or time and labor intensive. This can be relative and subjective. For many years now, I haven't played much golf, Travis, because I just don't think it's worth the time. I would rather do something else with the time. Other people love golf. And for someone else, if they love doing something that you think is too burdensome or too involved, it doesn't matter because it's subjective. Another factor is that it doesn't cause undue distraction from our important responsibilities, our work, family duties. It shouldn't be an interference with important relationships. If your family doesn't know what you look like anymore because you're too busy doing your thing, then you might want to reevaluate your approach.
Yeah, that's an important point. A hobby that's a good fit for you is one that you can adapt to your circumstances, finances, discretionary time, availability, best modes of learning, all those factors that matter to you.
Some other reasons that we maybe avoid hobbies is because we have unproductive distractions, even addictions. While I was doing research, I actually found a guy who was trying to start a YouTube channel or something, but then he came back on like months later and said, I can't even do this because I'm just so addicted to scrolling through my feed. And anyways, I thought that's kind of an extreme example, but I think that's something that affects all of us. Lots of potential distractions where we need to focus. And again, that comes with prioritizing ourselves and our time and our needs. Another reason we might avoid hobbies is limited resources. I have a lot of things that I would love to do. And with limited resources and prioritization of those, then some of them are, done more modestly, or others are done not at all, or maybe there's something to look forward to still, and that's fine. Another thing that I think can be a stumbling block to indulging in hobbies is guilt. We may feel guilty for using resources on ourselves, time or money or whatever, in light of the positive aspects of hobbies. However, we should not be afraid to engage in those because it's good for us. And we can actually view it as a form of self-care if it's done, in a productive way, if we're wise about it. If you're creative and if you're thoughtful and if you do your research, you'll surely find something that is doable regardless of your circumstances.
So let's look at what people do for hobbies today. Social media, the internet shows us a myriad of examples. Personally, I took up wood carving in 2020 during the pandemic.
Awesome.
And I started writing poetry again. Something I did in my youth, but it's come back and become new again for me. I also started handwriting letters last year and sending them to family and friends. It's been fun. There's so many other avenues. Pottery. My wife started making concrete bowls a couple summers ago. Of course, there's painting. We have a Bob Ross channel on Netflix, something you can stream. Origami, photography, woodworking, writing, vlogging, even yoga and bird watching. What I love about this list is that it's endless and completely personal. And good hobbies allow us to produce more than we consume.
I love that. Well said. For myself, I've had many interests in the past, some of which have come and gone and others have remained. I've done fantasy football, beekeeping, food photography. The ones that seem to persist with me are reading and cooking. They are ever-present loves, and I think woodworking is here to stay. I'd love to set up my workshop adequately to do some guitar making. Friends of mine are interested in more physical activities. They've taken up pickleball. I have a niece who's excellent at jump roping, and she's in a very talented troupe. In my immediate and extended family, the list is quite long. I know a lot of interesting people. Activities they've done include mountain biking, road biking, climbing and mountaineering, gardening, blogging, journaling, family history, dance, vocal or instrumental music, knife making, building furniture, art ranging from graffiti-style painting to conventional painting and even sidewalk chalk art. A little bit of everything. There's lots to do.
So interesting. One of the other aspects of hobbies is it can transform into work. It can become a separate income stream. It's an easy transition from a non-compensated skill to a compensated skill because people often achieve work-level skills in their leisure pursuits. With the transition into a compensated skill, though, it leaves the realm of hobby becoming then a side hustle instead of purely just a hobby.
Yeah, by nature, if we're being paid for it, it's no longer a hobby, it's work.
Exactly.
So then, I guess you just really enjoy your work, right?
Yeah, you must.
There's the old saying that if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. But the part I heard about that is that you never work. And I don't think it can be achieved without some level of stress. I love to cook, but if I had to do it professionally, it would be a nightmare.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Brett. And as we conclude today, we extend an invitation and offer encouragement to you. Yes, you. To do something new, to enrich your life, or engage in that thing you've always wanted to try. Just get out there and start. Make it personal or make it a family affair or group effort, if that helps.
That's all of our stretching for today. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on hobbies and hope that you'll join us next time when we discuss biases, their origins, effects, and management.